Alright, hello and welcome. Baro is back. Let's see what he's got.
Well, hello, Golden Warrior. Just back from the void, I presume.
Alright, so the new item today is the ZEPHYR Immortal skin, which we will of course be taking a look at, and showing off the colors to see if you would like to get that. Obviously, this is kind of in the same boat as Hydroid, although not quite, with ZEPHYR being a relatively weak frame, especially since the second nerf of the Tonkor, making it nearly useless and not really leaving ZEPHYR with much in the way of an actual build. So, there's that. But we're going to look at it anyway, of course, so you guys can see it to see if you want it, if you really enjoy ZEPHYR. And then beyond that, we've got Primed Ravage, which is very, very good. Like I said in the Tennokan Baro video, this is future-proofing for possibly the pump-action shotguns, and also it goes on the Vacor Heck. Excellent mod, especially if you like the Vacor Heck, which is one of the best weapons in the game. So, worth picking up. Prime Flow, very, very good. The extra energy is outstanding. There are so many frames that can use this, and just throwing it on any frame is always going to be good. It is a very, very solid mod that is definitely a pickup that you should absolutely get. Prime Slip Magazine doesn't really go on anything. It's a very weak Prime mod, and there's not really any reason to max this, so only really get it if you're collecting. And then we have the Prisma Sigil, which is a pretty cool sigil. I like it quite a bit. It's very good on frames like Bobon and other very angular warframes, where it is kind of matching them. Then we have the Baro Noggle, which is quite nice. Very cheap. No real reason not to pick one of these up if you just got some extra ducats lying around. The Hakate Sandana, which is pretty nice. So we'll show off some colors for this one. Prism Daedalus chest, which we will also show off some colors for. I always think this thing is a little bit too bulky, though, personally. The Prismiskana, which is a very good weapon. Very, very solid melee weapon. If you like single swords, absolutely worth picking up. Definitely not just mastery fodder. It has an augment. It works. It's very solid. The Katir leg plates, which are among my favorite cosmetics. These are very, very nice looking. I use them on a large variety of warframes. They're very sleek and good. And then we have these absolutely awful mod packs that you should in no way ever get. They are absolutely worthless. There's almost no chance that you will get something of use or of value out of either of these packs. So please, do yourself a favor and don't buy them. But yeah, that is Baro over here. So let's look at those cosmetics. And then we will head on over to console. Alright, so here we are in the ship. So we've got the Prisma Hakate Sandana, which we were going to go over first. Very nicely. This is now separate color schemes. So let's just go through a couple of these. Like you might have been able to imagine, Prisma things color really well, and this is no exception. Kicks color quite nicely, and the misty Prisma effect looks good in most color combinations. So, unsurprisingly, it looks very nice. And then moving on to our attachments, we've got our legs and our chest piece. It's also worth noting, though, if you're holding out for if you like this Daedalus chest piece and you're holding out for Baro from Tennokan, he also has the Solstice Daedalus chest piece. So if you like this one definitely better, that's worth noting if you want to save yourself some ducats. So just a thing to add if you are saving up for the Tennokan stuff. If you don't want to get this one and you like the Solstice one better. But yeah, let's kind of check out the legs first more closely, and then we'll turn them again. Yeah, quite nice. These legs are pretty outstanding. Even on thin legs, they work. And then as for this chest piece, being Prisma, like I said before, they color very, very well with, I don't really think, any exceptions. I'm also holding a Prisma Garcata right now. That's kind of how they go whenever you go prime colors. Very, very good looking stuff. But yeah, that is our armor. So now let's jump into ZEPHYR and see how that immortal skin looks. Alright, so here we are on ZEPHYR, all defaults, and then jumping into the immortal skin. This is how it ends up looking in the default colors. Lets you color channel the, if you look at the legs, these like front parts of her legs and some other parts of her body are usually not colorable, and this makes them colorable. So there's that. That's a kind of immediate advantage to this skin. But let's see how it looks. That's not bad. That's nice. There's definitely some bad color schemes you can go with that we're seeing in here. There's a couple good ones in here that I've seen too. You could definitely make this skin work. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna say that if you like ZEPHYR, you could probably do some like much more interesting things with your fashion. Just purely because you can like get this in order to recolor the normally non-recolorable parts, just to show that these are non-recolorable. That stuff will never change. So it's kind of just like an immediate advantage of that skin that kind of makes it worth it if you really enjoy ZEPHYR. That being said, for anyone who has not played ZEPHYR, that is like not aware, ZEPHYR doesn't really have like a great build right now. She's okay, and she's survivable enough, and she has decent baseline stats. But her kit really doesn't do much else besides that, and it just is like a low bar kit, unfortunately. And I think ZEPHYR may be on the table to be reworked in the future. So maybe if you're future proofing, grab the immortal skin for that, I guess. But yeah, overall, haul was quite nice. Some good stuff in there today. So let's jump onto console and see what they got. Alright, welcome over to console. This is a pretty solid haul over here. We have the Katir Raza Sindana, which is a quite nice Sindana. Oh, it doesn't have the preview on it. That's okay. I've shown that one off before on a previous Katir video. That's a really nice Sindana. It is very sleek and good. Then we have the entire 60/60 set for the electric status, and that is all worth picking up. They're all worth getting. There are some of these that are more worth getting than others. They're solid. Like you use them a lot. The one that probably sees the least use out of the whole bunch here is maybe Voltaic Strike. Well, maybe Shell Shock, but Shell Shock is used on the Tigress Prime. So there's that. So this sees like maybe the least use in its weapon class, but no, you would there's quite a few shotguns you would use this on actually. So maybe the least used is probably Voltaic Strike, but these are all quite good. You definitely want to pick up Jolt and High Voltage and Shell Shock and yeah, you want to pick them all up. Like honestly, they're just nice, and the farm for these kind of really sucks. So definitely a good thing to pick up. Then we have Prime Breach, which is a fantastic Prime mod, making your weapons that are melee hit at a larger range. It's just a huge damage increase, and for some weapons it becomes crazy, like the Orthos Prime. Then we have Prisma Shade, who is at the very least for you 9k mastery, which is definitely worth it. And also Shade is a good sentinel. And we have the Mech Head, which isn't as okay cosmetic. The Prisma Veritux, which is unfortunately just mastery fodder. But then we have the Prisma Gurkata, which is very much not just mastery fodder. This is the weapon I was actually showing today on PC. This was the weapon I was holding whenever we were showing off all of the cosmetics. This is a very, very good weapon. Quite nice. And then we have the Zyphos Prisma skin. If that loads up real quick here. Obviously, all of these ship Prismas are real good. So if you have the Zyphos, it's a very nice thing to have along with that. And then we have a 3-day credit booster, which is, of course, get it if you need it. But yeah, this is a pretty solid haul, honestly, over here on console. Like, this is probably, this is probably the best set of these. Toxin are probably about equal, but they're so much easier to get that these are really, really good. Very nice cosmetics in Dana. Prime Breach is outstanding. Shade is really good. Prisoner Gurkata is very good. And then some mastery fodder and a good skin. But yeah, solid over here on console. But yeah, that is Baro today. Now, a very special announcement. So, today, over on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Brozime, and you can find the link to that in the description, we are starting the new free-to-play through. So, the free-to-play through that I have been doing, the free-to-play through 2, that became invalid very quickly because of things that DE changed in the early game that really improved the early game and changed how I would approach the early game. Along with that, kind of what I'm doing on the channel has changed a little bit. So I'm going to be streaming the free-to-play through. That should be a really, really good time. There will be recaps on the channel for that, so if you can't make the stream, don't worry about that too much. I'm planning to do recap videos for like what I go through. But that's what we're going to be doing over on the Twitch today. So I hope you guys come check it out, and it should be a really good time. Feel free to always ask me questions, even if I'm not doing free-to-play through stuff. But if there's anything that confuses you, definitely head over there and ask me about it. So hopefully I will see you guys there. Later.